841 Big 550 KTRS. Do not change that channel because you are about to have your mind blown by our tech segment. Larry Stendenbach. Larry from First Rule. Good morning this morning.
Good morning, McGraw.
You took off your goggles, and your lab coat, and you put on a sport coat. Mm-hmm. You got 3 websites for us today.
Yes.
Let's start with the first one.
All right. So normally, I'm on bringing a tech device. Now let's. So we're going to look at websites today. The first one is a good teaching tool, and it's letmegooglethatforyou.com. It's a fun site. A little bit snarky, but it can be a lot of fun if you use it right. So if you go to letmegooglethatforyou.com, basically it'll bring up something that looks just like Google, but you can type in a string and it'll give you a URL that you can share with your friends that'll Google that Google search for them. And let me tell you why that's important.
What?
So I, for example, get, and I'm sure you guys do too, lots of requests from people that ask questions that might not be stupid questions, but questions that they could search on Google very easily.
Right, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like
we say
right. Like, what's the name of the book that talked about the year 1944? It was the name of a year. What was the name of that book?
Right. Or, when does the McGraw-Millhaven show come on at KTRS?
Right,
what are the hours? So they send you an email, and they've spent more time in this email than they would have if they've searched Google.
Right.
So with this, you can search that in this. It'll give them a URL that'll take them to Google. We'll enter the search string that they should have searched in Google, and we'll click on the search bar for them.
Because you cannot get any harder than that.
No, and I think
let me Google that for you.
Correct.
We'll literally send you a link that will Google it for them.
It will move their mouse, it will click on the search bar, and it will Google it for them.
And the website is IMGTFY.
You can do letmegooglethatforyou.com, and that works, or the initials, which is what here, so LMGTFY.com. But if you type in "Let me Google that for you" into Google, it will pop right up.
Is it a Google site?
It's not. No, it's a third-party site that's
really fun.
Kind of meant for good training tool.
What's number 2?
Second one is a fun game website, and we've had a lot of fun with this at the office. It's called Geoguessr, and it's GeoGuessr.com. And essentially what it is, Google has spent a lot of time Street View mapping the entire world.
Right.
So you can go down, from down here on Euclid in the Central West End to Dusty Street in Australia, and you can actually go down the road as though you're a car. So this actually created a game out of it that you can play not only by yourself, but with other people. And so it will place you somewhere randomly on the globe. And you're able to move around a little bit, look at street signs, look at any sort of evidence you might have, and you try to place a pinpoint on the map of where you are. And the closer you get to where you actually are, the more points you get.
So it's like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Pretty much. I mean, where in the world are you in this case?
Wow,
it's actually a lot of fun, and it's absolutely simple, and it's a fun game that anyone can play in their browser.
Geoguessr.com. That's why no work gets done at First Rule, because of Geoguessr.com. All right, what's the third one?
All right, now the third one, prepare your minds, because this one will blow your mind. This one blew my mind.
I'm ready for mine.
So it's called the Library of Babel. And the website is libraryofbabel.info, I-N-F-O. And essentially what it is, it's a website that authors everything that has been or could be written in the English language.
For example?
What it does is it uses an algorithm.
Yes.
And it's gone out at this point to 3,200 characters in length, and it's literally organized on pages, basically in hexagon-shaped rooms with 4 walls of books on each wall, containing 5 shelves and 32 volumes with 410 pages on each shelf. It's organized into a library. Every combination of every character that could possibly be written or has been written ever through an algorithm.
Okay, so what does that mean? I don't know. I'm so confused.
It's hard to get your head around, but what that means is that literally you can go to the Library of Babel and search any string of text, and it will tell you the page that string of text is already written on and the book that it exists in.
So, for example, if you are reading, you want something from the Count of Monte Cristo, let's just say, and you decide, okay, I want this paragraph, and I know a few of these words, but I don't remember where that was in the book. You type this in, and it will take you to...
Well, it will take you to the page in the Library of Babel where that specific string of text exists, but not to the book in Monte Cristo.
All right, so you typed into this website... Today on the McGraw-Millhaven show, we discuss cool sites.
Yes.
Okay, and what did it give you?
It literally gave me a book within the Library of Babel to go look at, and a specific page on that book where you can see here, we have it printed, that shows up. And so this is a really crazy concept that
What
has
do
a
you
lot
mean?
of...
You mean a book, an actual book?
It's a digital book, I suppose, in this case. It doesn't actually physically exist, but it digitally exists within this digital library. And so this is kind of a crazy thought experiment more than anything else, because at this point, literally everything that could possibly be written is there. I mean, for example, if the cure for cancer is under 3,200 characters in length, it exists on one of these pages,
Wow.
on one of these shelves, on one of these books. If the universal equation of the universe of physics that we're all looking, all physicists are looking for exists and is less than 3,200
So
characters,
if
it
it
exists
can
as
be
well.
if it can be written in how many characters?
Right now, they're trying to get a lot more, but 3,200 characters in length,
Okay,
and that
so-
includes spaces, commas.
Okay,
and,
so in other words, if there is a cure for cancer that's not discovered yet, and they name it going forward, the combination of letters is already been
It's already written.
figured out
Wow.
by this site.
correct.
Incredible.
It's a really interesting kind of thought experiment where, and it brings up questions about, what's a really original thought. When you think a thought, and you're like, oh, I'm the first person to probably have thought that. Well,
So it's
probably
taken
not.
the 26 letters in the alphabet,
plus space, period, and comma, so 29 total.
29 total, and it has created every single combination.
Correct.
So it's like 29 factorial.
It's much more than that. But yes.
Right, times 29 factorial or whatever.
Yeah, it's basically
29
base
times, I guess.
29, and then it's massive. It's massive. And the amazing thing about it is how it's done through this algorithm. Essentially, it converts the text into base 29, runs it through the algorithm, and gives you a page number. And that page number is where it exists in the Library of Babel, and you can convert it back and forth. So there's some math behind it. But more interestingly, for fun at home, you can go to the site and you can search anything. You could search your name and when you were born, and the city you were born in, and the hospital name that you were born in, and literally that's on a page in this library. So it's a really interesting thing.
So you could type in Cardinals win 2015 World Series, and that's already been displayed on this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And not only has been displayed, but the score that's going to be in that is there.
But that also
And
means that it's not
Prediction,
factual.
correct. That means that all the other iterations of things that are not there are,
Right.
are
It
there
could
as
say
well.
the Cubs win the 2015
Totally.
World Series.
It could say something totally that doesn't make sense too.
Right.
But the correct thing is there as well. So it's a really interesting thought experiment that if you want to have fun and go hunt around in this or see where you exist in this library, it's a lot of fun.
It's almost like you cannot get away from
Libraryofbabel.info. Libraryofbabel.info. Sounds like the John Carney show. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Larry Stenneback. 3 interesting websites. We'll have this up online if you missed any of them, also on Twitter and Facebook and KTRS.com as well. Larry, have a good weekend. Thanks.
You too. Thanks, guys.
8:48.